Jazzcast Pros.
Hello there, my graceful grinders and totally uniquers. Listen, ladies, I want to do something a little bit different today, but before I do, I must remind you that I am not a licensed mental health professional. I am, however, a trauma-informed coach and an emotional wellness coach. These episodes are intended for educational, reflective, and empowerment purposes only. They are not a substitute for counseling, therapy, or medical care. If you feel like you need medical care, please contact 911 or 988. Now, I want you to ask yourself a few questions about your emotional being. Question number one: what emotional reactions do I repeat automatically? And where did I learn them? Who taught you those emotional responses? Where did they come from? Question number two: if my brain can change, what belief or emotional responses am I finally ready to release? What am I ready to give up in order for me to change my mindset and my mental capacity? Question number three: what would my inner life feel like if I responded, if I literally took the time to respond instead of react? Welcome to the Grace and Grind Experience, ladies, with your executive coach, Dr. Pamela Brown-Grinion, President and CEO of Totally Unique Educational Consultants. Today, I'm sharing from lived experiences, from real moments where self-awareness and emotional control became necessary for survival, for healing, and for my own self-leadership. I'm going to show you how emotional awareness changes how we respond, not just how we feel. I'm going to then shift into a science talking about neuroplasticity and how the brain actually has the ability to rewire itself, giving us permission to change our old emotional patterns. This episode is about reclaiming your emotional authority and remembering that change is not only possible, it is biological, it is intentional, and it is available for you right now. Let's jump in. So, you've created this. You've created this. You can uncreate it. Okay? You've created your own emotional negative loops. And it could have begun with your negative emotional stories. The origin. Who said it? Who said it? Yes, Jessica, they are some strong words, but guess what, baby? They hold power. Unstuck, unbothered. Yes. Is it your story that you're living out? Or is it something that someone said? I was living out a negative origin story that somebody said to me. It was a locus of control, it was an external locus of control, and then it became an internal locus of control because I internalized it and I allowed it to have impact over my life. And at one point, it had dominion over how I could move. Okay, I'm just saying, if you want to shift, you can shift. You can shift today. You don't have to wait for something miraculous to happen. You don't got to be slain in the spirit. You don't got to go so your therapist can tell you. If you want to be unstuck, you can start working on getting unstuck today. Telling you what I know. Telling you what I know. I didn't start my journey at the altar. I started my journey in my house at home. I didn't wait till Sunday to go on the altar. Now, did I have those Sunday? Yes, I did. Did I have my battle cry? Oh, yeah. Oh, God, snot. Eyes swollen, lips swollen, snot running. Yes, I did. Because that was the icing on the cake. That was the deliverance. But that inner healing, I had to do the work myself. And I could. And so can you. All right? So now, call to action. Interrupt the behavioral response. How do you do that? When you hear that thing happening that's telling you that you can't because, or you won't because, you will never because, when you hear the voices and the things that come to tell you and rob you, take a beat, pause, breathe, and then name a truth. It's not happening to me today. So because Dr. Pam said I have the power to control, that's the truth right there. I have the power to control how this traumatic experience shows up in my life today, how much impact I give it today, how I respond to it today, and how it impacts me today. I have the power to control that. That's from the book of Pam. You have the power to control it today. So you no longer have to live in the bondage of the past. If you do after today, after this hour or so, you're choosing it. You're choosing to stay stuck. Yes, I said it. You're choosing to stay stuck. The power is in your hands. The control is in your hands. Okay? So now, tell yourself that even though these thoughts that I'm having are familiar, they're not factual. They're not happening today. They're not factual. So if something is not a fact, it's a lie. Why continue to live an emotional lie? Why? Because it's easy, because it's safe, and because you feel comfortable with it. That is the answer to the question. I'm not going to wait for you to answer the question. I'm telling you. Because it's safe, it's easy, and it's comfortable. And because your brain has remembered that this is how I've lived. This is what I'm used to. So let's walk this thing out. No more. No more. That's done. No more. No more. Okay? Today is the day. We are no more. Today is the day. Okay? We're canceling that. All right? This stops when you tell yourself that no more, today, the buck stops here, is done. Okay? This stops the automatic reaction, and this is how you interrupt the loop. And this is how you begin rewiring your brain. This is scientific. This is for real, scientific, that you can rewire your brain. You should be able to tell your brain, your mind, what you want from it, and that's what you get. But it's hard work. It is hard work. It is hard work to challenge your brain to knock it off. Stop this foolishness. It's hard work. It's not easy. And you have to do it every day, every time. Every time you feel it happening, you have to tell yourself, I'm not doing it. Now, I'm not saying that it won't ever come to revisit you, because my stuff revisits me almost every day. But I have to be like, I don't think so. I'm so far past that. I am too emotionally mature to be dealing with this foolishness, because I know something is coming around the corner, maybe tomorrow. Right? So I don't have time to be dealing with this foolishness from the past. And I can't do this work if I'm hijacked by my past. And you can't do your work if you're hijacked by your past. How are you supposed to do the work that you're called to do? Because you don't have any mental clarity. You don't. No more, D. No more. We're done. We're done. We are done allowing the enemy to rob us of our life today. Today. Done. No more power. Done. Done. No more. No more. But it's up to you to change your mindset and to go inward. You have to. You cannot do this without listening to your body. I know you feel those things. That's how we were designed. We were designed to feel these things, but no one was teaching us that when you feel these big emotions, what do you do with them? Done, Jamise. It's over. It's over. Right? It's over. This is the way I talk to my granddaughter who is 6. She's been hearing this since she was 3. No more. That's right, Donna. Done, done, done. No more, because you have the power to control. And you do. Done. We are interrupting the loops. We're paying attention to our body when we feel these triggers happening in us, and we're paying attention to our behavioral responses. What do I do when I get like this? Do I become aggressive and angry, or do I revert to the rabbit hole? Am I dismissive? Do I shut down? What do I do? Do I freeze? What do I do? For me, check, 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 all of the above. I had no idea it was trauma responses. I had no idea the little girl, the unhealed little girl in me, was showing up inside of me as an adult and taking center stage and giving me the backseat. What? What? I wouldn't allow my 6-year-old granddaughter to run my household. I'm not allowing 6-year-old Pam to run my emotional household either. Not. I'm too emotionally mature for that. Okay? And we're going to get you there too. You have to interrupt. This is so critical, this first one. I know I'm harping on it, but I'm telling you, when you develop that type of self-awareness and you're able to pay attention to your body, and you start to ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? Where am I? Who's around me? What is happening repeatedly when I'm in this place or around this person? And then what emotional loop do I go on when I encounter this place, this person, or this thing, this smell, this music, whatever? Where are the places you're afraid to go because it puts you on an emotional loop? Where are the places that you stop going? I was coaching someone yesterday and they told me that they can't go down a certain street because that's where they were abused. What if you need to go down that street to get somewhere? So you're going to intentionally derail yourself because it's difficult to go down the street. It's not down there. So I'm challenging you to go on those places. I'm challenging you to go on those places where you're afraid to go. And then see what happens. What's going to happen? You're going to feel some stuff. You're going to cry. Okay. You've cried before. You okay? You felt this before. You okay? Go. Don't be held captive. Let me tell you, when that traumatic experience came back for me about what happened about when I was 17 in the military in the drill sergeant's pickup truck. When I went to the grocery store, if it was a pickup truck if it was an open spot, I wouldn't park next to the pickup truck. What? This is the best parking spot, right? So I'm going to allow this pickup truck in 2025. Nobody's in it. It's sitting out here all by itself. You mean to tell me that, Pam, you're going to let this pickup truck, drill sergeant is not in the pickup truck? He's probably even dead. Okay? And you mean to tell me you're not going to park right here? You guys know what I started doing, right? I started looking for pickup trucks to park next to because I needed to overcome that thing. Just like I showed up when my girlfriend said, you're afraid to commit to you. I showed up here for you and for me. I'm not going to be, what? I'm too emotionally mature for that. I'm not going to allow something that's not happening today to impact me. I'm not. A mind shift is absolutely important in self-care. Absolutely, Mars. Absolutely. All right. We got to stop the negative emotional loops from controlling us. We got to get off the emotional hamster wheel. You're not going anywhere. You're keeping yourself stuck and you're keeping yourself unhealed. Okay, I'm done with that. I'm going to go to number 2. Every new choice opens a new pathway. Remember, I was saying to you, if you just change one factor, 1 + 1 = 2, right? If I just change one thing, I can take myself on a whole different course. A whole different course. If I'm on 490 East, you guys pick a highway where you live, right? If I'm on 490 East here in Rochester, I'm leaving Chili, I'm driving into the city, I'm going 490 East. I can veer off and go 390 North and put myself on a totally different brick road. Intentionally, because that's what I want to do. Or I can continue to go 490 East. But I have the power to control which route I take. Now, I know that if I'm going to Greece, staying on 490 East is ridiculous because I'm trying to get to Greece. So I'm not going to stay on a course that's going to take me in a direction that I'm not trying to get to. This isn't my destination. My destination is Greece. I'm not going downtown or across town. I'm going to Greece. So it doesn't make sense for me to stay on this path because I'm going to end up nowhere fast and it's not my intended destination. You guys understand what I'm saying? If you are trying to break free from the cycle of trauma and you're trying to heal the symptoms and you know that you have to interrupt your emotional loops and that in order to create a new path, why would you stay on the emotional loop if being free from the trauma is what you desire? That's a good question. Why would you stay on this path? Only you can answer that. Now, understand that new thoughts and new behaviors feel uncomfortable because you have to make your brain learn something new. That is all a part of the neuroplasticity and rewiring the brain. You have to interject something new. Okay? Amen. Donna said, amen. The power to control your mind said, yes. You have to interject something new. My interjection is when these things come up, I just cancel them. But I've already gone through the healing journey. You may have to say something to yourself like, that's not happening to me right now. In a very soft, calm way to tell yourself, I'm not going to respond like that because that's not happening. I know this memory is coming back. I know when I smelled this, it made me think of that. But that's not happening to me right now. So I'm not going to accept that as my truth on today. Because it's not your truth. It's not. Only you can interrupt it. Only you have the power to interrupt it. So if you're trying to go 390 North, you don't stay on 490 East. Because that's not your destination. Your behavioral response is 390 North. So you got to go 390 North, okay? Because that's your end result. That's your destination that you're trying to get to. All right. Consistency is what strengthens the rewiring. Okay. Not perfection. Not, oh my God, I messed up. No. If you see that you've messed up and you allow that negative loop to replay again, then as soon as you realize that it's replaying, tell yourself whatever that thing is you need to tell yourself so that it stops playing. But again, you have the power to control that. Okay? When you feel the negative loop starting to replay, don't stay on the emotional hamster wheel. Don't, because you know where that gets you. Nowhere fast. You can't change your behavioral responses to trauma if you continue to replay the negative emotional loop that happens in your brain. And only you can change that. Only you. Okay? And it's not with perfection. It's with consistency. And I'm telling you Don't be fooled by, because I said, this is really going to come to you now because you said you want to change your behavioral responses to trauma. Okay. Once you make your mind up for that, understand that you are going to be challenged repeatedly with this traumatic experience because you've made a declaration to yourself that I am going to stop this foolishness today. It's done. No more. I'm making a choice for myself today. And I want emotional freedom. Understand that it's going to revisit you. Don't beat yourself up. Extend yourself grace. And you know what I tell you every day? If you can't find enough grace in yourself, tap into God's grace because it is more than enough. It is sufficient for you and you will stand. Okay? Just don't get yourself caught in the loop to the point where you're paralyzed again and you're experiencing Python syndrome again. Because it's going to come. It's going to revisit you. It's going to revisit you. Tell yourself whatever that one thing is that you need to say to yourself to create that gentle shift in you so you don't stay on this cycle, okay? Consistency, not perfection. Extend yourself grace. You are going to mess up. Just know that now. You're going to mess up. It's going to revisit. It's going to revisit. Put yourself back on track and don't allow it to. Put yourself back on track and don't allow it to. And you can do that because you have the power to control how it shows up in your life, how much power you give it, how you respond to it, and how it impacts you. You have the power to control that. Okay? Now, even a tiny shift can start your brain to rewire and neuroplasticity can happen. Okay? So I need you to accept in your spirit that we're choosing something differently now. I'm choosing something differently. I'm choosing to do something differently that I've never done before. I'm going to fight for my emotional freedom starting today. Today. And I'm going to interrupt those negative emotional loops and that negative story that you probably you didn't create it. Somebody else said it, you adopted it, you believed it, you've rehearsed it, and now you have a negative emotional loop. No more. Today it stops. Okay? And a very small shift can start your brain to rewire. A very small shift. Correct. You can do it right now in your car. Wherever you are, you can start. I'm challenging you right now to think of something, whatever that one go-to thing is that you're going to say to yourself to start rewiring. Because your brain is a muscle that remembers. And if you continue to take it on this journey, that's where it's going to go. So what are you going to say to yourself? When it comes back to revisit you, what are you going to say to yourself? My thing is, this is not happening right now, so I'm not going to allow it to rob me of my today. That's my thing. And you can use it because it works. But what is your thing that you're going to say to yourself? And be kind and compassionate and gentle with you. What's your thing? Okay? So, interrupt the behavioral response. Do one opposite action of what you normally would do. If you withdraw, be intentional about withdrawing so that you don't. To not withdraw. Be intentional about not withdrawing. Okay? If you go inward, if you isolate, be intentional and not isolate. Interrupt what you normally do. That is the only way to start rewiring your brain. One small thing. If you stay in the house and don't go anywhere, go outside and go for a walk. Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister, for the stars. I appreciate you. All right? Go for a walk. Do something for you. Don't shut down. Don't slide back into the rabbit hole. We're coming out. And I know some of you may have your fingers gripping onto the outside and you feel like the enemy is pulling you at your ankles to get back down here. No, you have the power to control. Don't do it. Don't be held in captivity by what's going on in your mind. Because it's not your truth anymore. It's not your truth. So why are we living out the lie? Right? We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. All right? So now, number 3, emotion, not pressure, creates the strongest neural changes. Emotion, not pressure. What do I mean by that? When you have positive emotions, you create a different type of imprint on your brain. You know that? You have the power to create a different type of imprint on your brain. You have the power to do that. So, don't allow the emotions of people criticizing you or you criticizing yourself. Don't allow shame to keep you captive emotionally. Don't allow unforgiveness to keep you captive emotionally, because we can't see it. I'm going to use me as the example. I walked in shame for so many years thinking that people could see my trauma on my face. Right? Nobody saw it. Nobody knew. You know when people saw it? When I was like this. Pam, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Why you looking like that? Looking like what? Why you looking like you sad? I look sad. I didn't even know I look sad. That's when people see it. But they don't have to see it because you have the power to control. You don't have to look like what you've been through. You don't have to wear it on your face. And you have to start creating emotional safety so that it can fortify you internally and not allow these negative emotions to keep coming back and robbing you. So you have to feed yourself something different in order to start creating this emotional safety. And you can't do that when you're walking around with shame and criticism and resentment and hatred and unforgiveness and all the things. Okay? And then start to create some positive experiences for yourself. Right? Positive experiences will build healthier neural maps for you. What's a positive experience? Well, when I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, I may want to go to the spa because I need some self-care. I may want to go and sit by some water because I love large bodies of water. I may just want to go sit by or a creek and just listen to how the water flows over the rocks. Or I may want to journal about what I'm feeling so that I can get this out of me and start to create a positive pathway for what I'm feeling. And while I'm journaling, I'm going to give it space. I'm going to say what I'm feeling. I'm going to say why. I'm going to say who's a part of this memory that I'm experiencing. But then I'm going to write something positive to myself. I'm going to encourage myself. And I'm going to tell myself that I can do all things. I know I have weapons that have happened in my life that have come, but now that I really, really, really understand that these weapons can't prosper against me, I've allowed the weapons to prosper against me. I've allowed them. You guys understand that? And listen, everybody I see on here, believers, we allow these weapons to prosper. But again, how many sermons have you sat in and you were told how to not allow the weapons to prosper? I'm talking about in a real way. I'm not talking about just giving you some scriptures and saying you should. I'm talking about in a real way. How do you not let the weapons prosper? I'm telling you, with neuroplasticity and rewiring your brain and changing your outlook on the things that you've been through in the past and understanding that it's not happening to you right now. So therefore, you do not have to live the lie that has impacted you all of your life because you've been on this negative emotional loop. When you go into your mindset and make up your mind that I'm no longer going to allow these weapons to prosper within me, then they will have to stop. They just do. But it will come back. Now the fiery dart's going to continue to come, but you have to understand that you have the power to control. And then extend yourself some compassion because it quiets the survival brain and activates the learning brain. Why do I say learning brain? Because you are incorporating new strategies and tips to how you're going to change your behavioral responses. And your brain has become accustomed to, right? So you have to shift. And now you have to start saying something to yourself and doing some things for yourself that takes you out of that and off of that hamster wheel. Okay? Must take control. You must take control. I want you to envision yourself. You are the hamster. I want you to envision yourself. You are the hamster. And your behavioral responses to the things that you've been through is the wheel. When you put it in that perspective, what sense does that make? But your desire is to be free from it. And you can jump off the wheel anytime you want to, but you're staying on it. You're the hamster. Your stuff is the wheel. You want to get off, but you don't. Done, done, done. We're not doing that anymore. Anything after today is a choice. How are you going to choose? It's up to you. So I need you to interrupt the behavior response, okay? Even if it's something as simple as, I just need to take a pause, and I need to feel my heart beating, and I need to just take a step back and just breathe to get through the moment while I interject. This is not happening to me today, so I don't have to live it out in my life today. This is a lie that I've turned into a truth, but today I'm canceling the lie. I'm no longer going to allow my past to rob me of my today. Even if it's that simple, the small things will begin to shift the rewiring of your brain. If you do nothing, if you don't interject anything, and you just continue to let this spiral out of control, you're going to be where you are. You're going to be where you are. Janice, I'm loving it. You're embracing done, done, done. Just one thing. But remember, self-awareness starts in the body. So pay attention to what you're feeling when you're feeling it. And then shift with intentionality. Shift on purpose. Shift because you have the power to. Remember, you're the hamster. You guys will never forget that. You're the hamster. Tell yourself when you're breathing, I'm in a safe place. I'm home. There's no threat here. I am my biggest threat. My mindset is my biggest threat in this moment. And I'm shifting my mindset right now in this moment. And I'm going to speak a truth to myself. And my truth is, I'm safe. I'm at home. This is not happening to me in this moment. And I'm not going to live the lie. That simple. Every time. Whatever your thing is. Because today we're done. When it revisits, we're going to say, I'm done. I'm done. When it comes with a vengeance, I don't care how strong it comes. I'm done. I don't care how many times you fall off. I'm done. I'm done. Okay? I'm done. When you do this, that stillness, it settles the emotional brain and shifts the response, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to shift our behavioral responses to our trauma instead of keep going on this same vicious cycle. Okay? You guys with me? All right. Number 4, which is my favorite. A regulated nervous system makes new behaviors stick. A regulated, remember we were talking about dysregulation and regulation. Dysregulation is when you allow this to be in control instead of when you feel this saying, I'm not allowing that thing, whatever that thing is, I'm not allowing that thing to take precedence over my actions, my speech, my thinking. I'm not allowing it. And understand that when your body feels unsafe, your brain can't process clearly. So in order to put yourself back in a regulated state, you have to do something with your mindset in order for your body to feel safe, because self-awareness starts in your body before it starts in your brain. That means you have to pay attention. You just have to. You got to pay attention. Regulation creates the internal conditions needed for change. What does that mean, Dr. Pam? That means that your body has to become familiar with being regulated. That means that you have to get so good at this that when you feel these sensations in your body, that you can quiet them. Okay? It's like anything that becomes a habit. See, we have emotional habits that dysregulate us. That's what this is. Right? That's what this is. So we have to create some new emotional habits, because that is the only way that we can disrupt these illogical patterns that are happening in our lives. Okay? Grounding creates clarity. Just take a pause. Don't react immediately. Take a pause when you're feeling this. If you're normally that type of person where you don't have time to stop to say, is this small, medium, large, extra large, or super size? Right? Understand where you are emotionally and then adjust yourself accordingly. Before you do something that's going to yield a consequence that you're going to have to undo or that you're going to regret. You got to woosah in the moment. Take a beat. You got to take a beat. All right? Now, how do we ground? I just shared with you how you ground. Or just sit. Feel your body as you sit quietly. This is how I go into my meditative state. I sit quietly. And I pay attention to what I'm feeling in my body. Am I feeling tight in my forehead? Am I feeling tight in my face? Are my shoulders heavy? Is my stomach relaxed? Is my tongue relaxed? Are my thighs relaxed? Are my feet flat on the floor? Am I relaxed? Is there anything tense in my body? And I just breathe until I relax my entire self from head to toe. Just sit and be. And just don't think about anything. Just breathe. Take as many deep breaths as you need to while you're relaxing your body from head to toe. And if you feel something that feels tense, relax it. 5 minutes. I challenged you the other day. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. And just relax your body. And just sit in stillness. And just be quiet and be still and listen. And listen. Okay? And listen. This will anchor your body and interrupt your reactive behavior. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anchor, center, stillness. You got to interrupt something, okay? interrupted. Okay? Now, number 5, small daily shifts create lifelong change. It's repetition. If you are going to rewire your brain, it requires repetition. You can't just do it while you're here with me. You have to do it every day throughout the day, and then it'll become a new emotional habit. It will. And before you know it, you'll be rewired, and you'll be able to, like, if something comes up, even while I'm talking to you, I can shift it inside of me with no problem while I'm talking to you. And you'll never even know that it arose in me. You'll never know, because I'm emotionally mature. And I know how to put these things to bed when they rise up. And you will too. Just keep coming on these lives every morning at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to give you some good stuff. Okay. So you need micro practices, small things, small steps, right? How do you eat an elephant? I hear all you guys saying 1 bite at a time. Right. That's the same way you are going to rewire your brain and shift your mindset. 1 bite at a time, 1 micro practice at a time, 1 traumatic experience that arises at a time, 1 negative thought at a time, 1 reframe at a time. Okay? One at a time. It's how you are going to shift yourself. Okay? 1 thing at a time. So these micro practices are more effective than trying to just do it all at one time. Grace. You didn't get this way overnight. You're not going to change overnight. Okay? Don't beat yourself up when you fall off or when you mess up. It's not messing up, and you're not broken. You just have this negative story that's repeating in your life. But you have the pen, and you can change the narrative today. Tiny wins strengthens your self-trust with yourself. Tiny wins. When you do it, I did it. And if you can do something 1 time, you can do it again. You prove that self to you every time you get in a car and drive. When you first got in the car to drive, you didn't know what you were doing. You didn't know the signal light from the windshield wipers, but you continued to do it until you learned how to do it. And you didn't jump in and you just got in because they said, put your feet on the gas, put the car in drive, put the foot on the gas and drive. You had to learn micro steps. You had to learn the principles of driving, right? It was like I was telling you guys, when I really learned how to worship, it wasn't until I had a class in how do you worship. You don't just enter into the Holy of Holies. There are steps that happens in your praising and worshiping. You just don't enter into the inner court. There are steps. There is a process that you have to follow. It's the same thing with shifting your mindset. It's a process. Micro practices, tiny wins, small steps. You can't do it in 1 day. Now, can you start shifting today? Absolutely. Can you have great impact today? Absolutely. Can you change how you respond to your trauma? Absolutely. Can you change how much power you give it today? Absolutely. Absolutely. Today. So ask yourself, what is the next gentle step I can take with myself? Like, I want you, when you're meditating and when you're trying to interrupt your behavior response, I want you to plant that seed, that question, in the soil of your soul. What is the next gentle step I can take with me? Plant that seed in the soil of your soul and expect an answer. But you have to be in stillness. You can't have this all day. You can't be on the phone. You can't be on social media. You can't be talking. You can't be Netflix and chilling. You can't. You're not going to hear like that. You have to take a pause somewhere in the day. I suggest in the morning to settle your day. What am I going to accomplish today? What are the goals that I have? What's the order of things? What boundaries am I setting for myself today? What am I committing to today for myself? Set your day. And then before you go to bed at night, set your pattern of sleep, because the last thing you think about, it's what's going to reside in your spirit throughout the night. So settle yourself, settle your spirit, settle your energy, settle your mind. Okay? Settle. You guys hear me? So, what's the next gentle step I can take with myself? That's it. Those are your five things. Now, I'm going to go back to the top. Recap. Your brain becomes what you repeat, number 1. Every new choice opens a new pathway, number 2. Emotion, not pressure, creates the strongest neural changes. That's number 3. Number 4, a regulated nervous system makes new behavior stick. And number 5, small daily shifts creates lifelong changes. Okay? All right, folks, that's all we have time for. I thank you so much for joining the Grace and Grind podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Pamela Brown-Grinion, and until next time, you already know what I'm going to say. I love you, love you, love you with my whole heart, and I want you to always remember that you have the power to control how your trauma shows up in your life, how much power you give it, how it impacts you, and how you respond to it. Now, with that being said, I want you guys to go and have yourself a totally unique day on purpose. I'm your host, Dr. Pamela Brown-Grinion, President and CEO of Totally Unique Educational Consultants. Don't forget to connect, like, share, do all the things. You can reach me on social media at I am Dr. Pamela. That's IAMDRPAMALA. And you can learn more at totallyunique.com. Until next time, TTFN, and that's a ta-ta for now.